Ask Tom on Home Show.
Brandon from Katy has a question about an overlay, which might be an overcharge.
Well, his overlay right now is having these problems, Tom. If you take a look at that, you can see that, he's got a couple spots there that are starting to come up. Brandon writes to us, the stamped concrete overlay is coming up in small sections due to cracking. I got a quote to remove and replace the overlay. Would it be better to just tear out the entire patio, have a new patio put in, and stamp it at that point? I'm wondering if the cost of doing that is less than the $11,000 they want for replacing the overlay.
There's a lot of labor involved in this. I don't think it's an outrageous cost at all.
Wait a minute. You don't think $11,000 is high for just replacing the overlay?
No, because this is a stamped overlay. That's what I was about to get into. So I think he has some other options. He's asking me one or the other. That overlay, it's stamped. What they do is they pour it down, then they go around and start to stamp it. It's in there pretty thick. So they're going to have to remove all of that out of there. Then they're going to have to re-pour this whole thing on top. And then they're going to go in and stamp it as it's curing. And that's a huge amount of labor. It's not doing it from new because you have the removal part first, which is, there's just a lot of labor involved in this. It's not as much material as it is time, manpower. So there's some other options depending how bad that is. If we could just get to those bad areas and remove them and then just go ahead and fill them in. And then, Charlie, we've had people on our show. We've seen them at home shows. I know you're always going around too, where they have these coatings that can go on top and just put a whole different coating without having the stamp and all that stuff. They're more of a carved coating or different types of troweled on coatings. I have one on my front patio on my old pour that I had that they did a great job years ago on that looks like stone. And it was just troweled on, very simple and cost very little. I think it cost $875 to do mine. And they filled in the cracked areas and put epoxy in there. It worked out great. So I think that's the route I'd go with, is go to a different type of coating. Do not jackhammer that out. Look how it's up against the house. Look at all the mess that would be. Don't do that. It's probably going to be the same amount of money with much more work and damage. The yard's going to be history. But that's a big area. So I think I'd go for the commercial coatings and see if they can get rid of those bad spots, which they can take out just small areas, fill it in, and then coat the whole thing.
Well, to your point, Tom, and I've heard you say this before, if it's cracking from underneath and they put something on top of it, isn't that crack just going to come right back through again?
Yes, that's why I don't know, and they're going to have someone determine this. If he says 2 or 3 areas that are bad, because they have that stamped area that they can just take that out to where it's like a big little crater in there, right? And so they take those areas out, the rest of it is fine. Then they fill those areas with a cement filler that'll bond real well, probably an epoxy type filler in there that's going to go into the mixture. And then they have a smooth surface where they can go back. As long as that base concrete isn't all cracking and moving all around, that's when we'd refer them to Concrete Raising Corporation first. Then they're going to get away with it. I have a feeling they can just dress up those bad areas, kind of fill it up. Like if you had a piece of rotten wood and you're about to put some new hardy siding on the house, and you just cut out the rotten siding and put some plywood in there so it's the same level, and then you come back with a hardy on top, it's the same concept.
You got a question, Tom? I'll help you out. Just like that. Go ahead, click Ask Tom. It'll take you to that page right there. You fill it out. There's a form. You can send us pictures and videos, anything else you think it'll take to help understand what you need help with. And then Tom will vend the help. It's all free because we like doing it, and we're here for you. And you'll find a new video posted every day at HomeShowRadio.com, of course, our Facebook page, and hundreds and hundreds of them waiting for you at our YouTube channel.